23. I'll give you all a minute. All right, so for question 23, we have two data sets, and we're told the mean is 50, which the following describes the relationship between the standard deviation. So standard deviation is on average, how far away are the data points from the mean. In this case, it seems like dataset R has most of its data points closer to the mean of 50, whereas dataset S has its values more spread out. It goes further down and further up. So this thing, datasets S, standard deviation will be higher. So in this case, they have the same standard deviation. No. R is greater than S. No. R is less than S. Yes, the correct answer is C. And the sum of standard deviations of the two datasets is 100. You're not gonna ever have to calculate standard deviation. Not on the SAT at least. Okay, question 24. Okay, so for question 24, which equation represents the relationship between the price of one waste and the profit? Well, in this case, all these integers are just in point slope form. So in this case, what we need is the height of this and the x value, which is at 18. So in this case, we would have x minus 18 squared plus, and then we would have the height, which is approximately like 1500. So we need an interest that's something like this. So in this case, A is plus 34, which is not what we need. B is correct. C and D both have a different slope or a different point for the intercept, so neither of those are correct. So correct answer is B. Okay, question 25. Okay, so for question 23, or question 25, the bar graph shows the frequency of each data value. What is the minimum data value? So in this case, it's not asking which one of these has the lowest frequency. It's asking which of the following, which data values is the smallest. In that case, it would just be 10. 10 has the smallest value out of these four, so the correct answer is A. It is not asking for which has the lowest frequency. It is asking for which one is the smallest. Okay. Question 26. Okay, so for question 26, we're showing 27 books in a frequency distribution. Um, okay, so basically in the interval, how will the median price of books be affected when we add another book that costs 35 to 40? So in this case, we just add one here, and now we're told to calculate the median price. So in this case, this frequency is 9, this frequency is 11, this frequency is 6, and this frequency is 2. So in that case, we just take 9, we subtract 2, which would just be 7, 11, and 6. You subtract 6 from both sides. In that case, that'd be 1 and 11. And then subtract 1, that would be 10. So the median in that case would be between 5 and 10. And honestly, even if we didn't add this book, the median would still be between 5 and 10. Because in this case, this would be 1, this would be 9 minus 1, which is 8, 8, 11, and 6. Um, 8 minus 6 would just become 2, and then this would be 11, this would become 9. So in that case, the interval would still be between 5 and 10. And even if we remove this book, it would still be between 5 and 10. So the correct answer should be B. Okay, question 27. Okay, so question 27, we're told no solution. There's two equations. The system has no solution. What could be the second equation? Well, for no solution, you need the same slope, but a different y-intercept. So we still have 1 over 2x plus some other value than 5. So we're just going to write not 5. So in this case, we have 2x plus 5. That's a different slope. 1 half x plus 5. That's the exact same equation. So no. 1 half x minus 4. This is a different. This matches. We have the same slope and we have a different intercept. So the correct answer should be C. And in this case, different slope. So correct answer is C. Okay, question 28. Okay, so for question 28, uh, we're given an equation. We're asked, uh, which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 0.5 in the function? Well, in this case, 10 is the base. 0.5 is the rate or proportionate rate, whatever you want to call it. I prefer calling it rate. And then in this case, the t over 29 is how often it happens. So in this case, time. So in this case, 0.5 is means that the proportion or rate that the base value changes at every t equals 29 years. So that would be option B. The proportion of string 90 that remains after approximately 29 years. Because when t is 29, um, we get the rate or proportion, which we can multiply with our base value. So correct answer should be B. It's not C because this is a number, not we have a rate, and it's not D because we have a number, not a rate. And then A would be if they asked us about the T over 29 and not the 0.5. Okay, question 29. Okay, so for question 29, we have an exponential model using data points. In this case, it would be sort of like this. So in that case, it asks us what is the equation of that line essentially. So I guess we'll just start off with this value because that's probably going to be the easiest. So when x is 0, so anything to the power of 0 is just 1. So that means this, whatever's in parentheses, will just become 1. So in this case, we have 1 over 100, and that seems really low for this. So it's not A. 2 is plausible, 6 is plausible, and 100 is not plausible. So when x is 0, 2 and 6 seem relatively plausible. And then in this case, if we plug in x is 4, um, we'd have 2 times 5 to the fourth power, and we'd have 6 times 2 to the fourth power. 2 times 5 to the fourth power is about 1,250. And then 6 times 2 to the fourth power should be around 96. So in this case, um, our point is at 100, so it should be approximately 100. In this case, that matches answer choice C. Answer choice B would be way too large, so correct answer should be C. Okay, question 30. Okay, so for question 30, we have a graph of a circle, essentially. So this is the X, and this is the Y, and we have like a circle. The center is at -3, so it says -3, and Y is at +7, so -3, 7 is the center, and it should be sort of like a circle like this. So one thing you could do to solve this is graph it, but I'm going to do it the standard way. In this case, it asks us which point lies on the circle. So in this case, this dotted line. And we are given +3. So in this case, should be at +3. And we're also given y values. So in this case, it's just a triangle. Um, with our base of the triangle being 6, because we start at -3 and we go to +3. So our base should be 6, and we also know the radius. The radius is just the square root of this, which would just be 10. So our radius should be 10. So in this case, we have something like this, with 10 being the radius, and this being 6, and we're asked to find the y value. Alternatively, it could also be like this, where we still have the radius, we still have 6 to the right with a radius of 10, and we're asked to find this y value instead. Both cases, we still need to find the y value and either add or subtract from the original y value of 7, which we get from here. So in that case, um, this is just a right triangle, so we can do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In that case, we have 100 minus 36, and then we take the square root of that, which would just be 8. So we just do 7 plus or minus 8 for our answer. That would be 15 and -1. So in that case, the correct answer would be B. It would be at 3, -1. And the other answer would be 315, but that's not one of the answers they provided. So correct answer is B, at 3, -1. Someone asked if Desmos is available for the test. Yes, it is. But if I use Desmos for this, I'm not really explaining anything. But yeah, that is a much easier way to solve it. Although you might get a question where using Desmos might not be so easy. They might not provide um, this actual equation. They might just tell you, all right, the radius is this and the center point is this. In that case, you'd have to know the actual circle formula in order to put it into Desmos. But yeah, you will have Desmos, so you could solve it that way. Okay, question 31. Okay, question 31. We have two rectangles, and we're told rectangle B has three times length and width of A. So in this case, we have rectangle B, and then we have like rectangle A like this. So in this case, A has a width of, let's say, X, and a length of Y. That's not a Y, that's a Y. And then B has a length of 3x and 3y. So basically both are three times the corresponding length and width. And we're given the area of A, which is going to be 64. In that case, area is just x times y, so xy is 64. And then for rectangle B, if we multiply them out, we have 3y times 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. We have 9xy equals what? Well, xy is 64, so we just have to multiply that by 9. So 64 times 9 is just 576. So the correct answer is 576, is the area of rectangle B. Okay, question 32. Okay, so for question 32, in this case, a one-digit positive integer will be chosen at random. So in that case, that leaves us, well, it has to be positive and it has to be an integer. So that leaves us 1 to 9. Okay, and then it says, what is the probability that the chosen integer will be greater than 7? So we can't include 7, we have to be greater than 7. So that's 8 and 9. So probability means over the total, so that's 2 over the total, which is 9. So 2 over 9 is the answer. Or if you want to put it as a decimal, which it says, you could do 0.222, repeating. In this case, you truncate it just the 3 decimal points. Or however many the answer sheet allows you to put. Usually they don't care about more than 3 though. Okay, question 33. Okay, so for question 33, we have two system equations, so we just need to solve. In this case, both our x and y's are the same, so we can just use the subtraction method. In this case, 5x minus 5x is 0x. 3y, 2 minuses become a plus, so 3y plus 4y is 7y, so plus 7y. And then we have 31 minus 17, which is, should be 14. Um, in that case, divide both sides by 7, we get y is equal to 2. And then we have to solve for x. So we plug in y equals 2 to the top equation. We get 3 times 2 is 6. 31 minus 6 is 25. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So we have x is equal to 5. So y is 2, x is 5. And then what's the value of 10x minus y? 10x is 50, minus y is 2. So 48 is the answer. And obviously, you could have also plotted this, found the intersection point for x and y. Could have done that as well. Anyway, question 34. Okay, so for question 34, we have 3xy times 2y plus 3. That's just 3 times 2 is 6x, y times y is y squared, plus 3xy times 3 is just 9xy. What is the value of b? We have bxy squared plus 9xy, so b is just 6. So correct answer is 6. Okay, question 35. Okay, so question 35, percentage of attempt classifications that have 11 or more elements. These 4 have 11 or more elements, and we're told there's 10 in total, so 4 out of 10, 40%. So what is the value of p? It's p%, so the answer is 40. And then question 36. Okay, so question 36. Non-metal is halogen, noble gas, or other non-metal. So halogen, noble gas, or other non-metal. Those three. In that case, that would be 7 plus 6 plus 7, which is 20. Um, and that's what it is if it's a non-metal. So ratio of all non-metals to all elements is 10 to K. So instead of 20, we have 10. What is this, 2? Well, originally it would be 20 to 118 known elements. In this case, we're reducing 20 to 10. So what are we reducing 118 to? So in this case, we just divide it by 2. So we just take 118 and divide it by 2, which gets us 59. So the correct answer should be 59. Okay, question 37. Okay, question 37. Um, what is the greatest average change between two readings shown in the graph? Um, that would be these two. This has basically what is the largest difference that's between these two. In that case, that would be 16 minus 6, which is 10. And then this tells us that this is the wind speed recorded every 2 hours, and we need it in miles per hour per hour. So we need to convert from 2 hours to 1 hour. So this would just be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So the correct answer is 5. Then question 38.
Usha, we cannot hear you if you're talking. You're on mute.
I know I'm not. I should anyway answer this question. Anyway, um, K is perpendicular to the line. Uh, we're given the equation of one of the lines, negative 2x plus 3. So that would be like this. And then this equation would be like this, positive. So in this case, perpendicular means we just flip this. So this would just, from negative to x, it would become 1 over 2. And this would, the sign would also flip. So this is one positive 1 over 2x as the slope. And then the point is going to be negative 3, 1. So to find the intercept, we go right 3. So plus 3x, that would just be 3 over 2. And then plus the original intercept of 1. So 3 over 2 plus 1 is equal to 5 over 2. So correct answer is 5 over 2. Or 2.5 if you want to put a decimal.